Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's my great pleasure to rise to reply to the Governor-General's address. Madam Deputy Speaker, I was elected in 2013 and at the time of my election I spoke about being a strong local voice. And I hope, like you, I might say, Madam Deputy Speaker, that I've demonstrated that being a part of the Liberal Party, I can be part of a great party, but I can also be a strong local voice for my community, identifying the issues that matter, going out and fighting like there is no tomorrow, and delivering in spades for my electorate. I am so proud to represent the federal electorate of Corangamite. It is a wonderful part of the world, 7,500 square kilometres of magnificent coastline, wonderful parts of Geelong, all the way through to Colac, 188 kilometres of coastline, including the Great Ocean Road, amazing agricultural areas, small country towns, incredible national park, stretching all the way up to Ballarat. I grew up in Geelong, Madam Deputy Speaker. I love my town, I love my electorate, and when I go out into my community and represent the people of Corangamite, I do it with a fierce passion. I do it with a fierce sense of wanting to make a difference, and I do it because I'm absolutely determined that we deserve the very best. And I do believe that under the Turnbull government we are delivering in spades for regional Australia, and I'm incredibly proud of some of our initiatives. Madam Deputy Speaker, I hope that the people of Corangamite recognise that I have indeed been willing to go in and fight for them on the issues that matter. I hope that they've seen that I demonstrated that over the terrible Wye River Christmas Day bushfires, which of course caused so much devastation in 2015 in Wye River and Separation Creek. I'm incredibly proud of the way that the federal government, under the Natural Disaster Recovery and Relief Arrangements, the NDRRA, has put so much investment into that community under the NDRRA. That community has gone through so much, and when a group of homeowners came to me to say, we are being treated very badly by AAMI Insurance, and many, many months after that fire, we still do not have our insurance policies resolved, I was so pleased to go in and fight for them, to hold AAMI Insurance to account, to say this is not good enough, to take their claims to the Financial Services Minister Kelly O'Dwyer, and to, of course, institute, with the great support of the Minister, an ASIC inquiry, which is still ongoing, into the conduct of AAMI Insurance. I hope that the people of Corangamite will see that from the very beginning, when I first was pre-selected as the Liberal candidate back in 2009, I fought tooth and nail for the Princess Highway duplication project. I narrowly missed out on being elected in 2010, but I continued that fight, Madam Deputy Speaker. And now, with great pride, we are injecting more than $500 million into that road, the duplication of the Warn Ponds to Winchelsea section, which has now been complete. And boy, oh boy, the people of Winchelsea and the township of Winchelsea is absolutely sparkling as a result of the investment in that road. The next section is now well underway between Winchelsea and Colac, and I'm so proud, and I say shame to the Grattan Institute, which said that this was a road to nowhere. This is a road to somewhere very special. It takes people down to places like Colac, right through to southwestern Victoria, to Warrnambool and beyond, and of course to the magnificent Great Ocean Road. I'm so incredibly proud because I think that that really does symbolise so much of why people across Australia backed our government at the last election. I'm very proud to stand up for rural and regional Australia, and I reflect on the member for Indi's contribution, and I say that much can be achieved by being a member of this government and by being a member of our great Liberal Party. In contrast to Labor, Madam Deputy Speaker, which did not spend $1 on mobile black spots. We are now tackling black spots across the nation. With a $220 million investment, 18 mobile base stations have been committed in the Corangamite electorate. A number are up and running. One in Carlisle River, one is just about to be turned on. Much more hard work is required to get them all up and running, but it does demonstrate that whether you live in a large regional city or a tiny town, your voice matters. We have not seen that same approach from the Labor Party. We've taken the same approach to the NBN, a more equitable NBN than was proposed by Labor, and one which significantly subsidises rural and regional communities. And I'm very proud that right across the electorate the NBN is being rolled out and making a real difference. Another very important issue in Corangamite is rail. Now, it is extraordinary, and this has been a project that has been on the radar for many years, including when my mum was the member for Geelong in the 1990s, that the Labor Party at a state level had very few infrastructure projects in the pipeline. We know, Madam Deputy Speaker, that under Daniel Andrews, he cancelled the East-West Link contract after saying there was no contract. That was clearly untrue, a terrible untruth, one of the most economically reckless decisions ever in Victorian history. It cost Victorian taxpayers a staggering $1.2 billion. And now we have a poor cousin of that project, the Western Distributor, which is only half of the Western Link of the East-West Link, and we desperately need that full Western Road link into Melbourne. It is a complete nightmare travelling to Melbourne at the moment from Geelong, and we're very proud, I have to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, of the $3 billion that we have committed to the first state government willing to build the East-West Link. And we have a very strong commitment to that project from the state opposition, the state Liberal opposition, under the leadership of Matthew Guy, in contrast to the terrible decision made by Daniel Andrews. Of course, this was a project that was previously supported by both sides of politics. So again, what we've seen from the Labor Party is a very unprincipled decision where the likes of the Leader of the Opposition and the former Prime Minister Julia Gillard were not willing, and I include the member for Corio, were not willing and did not display the guts and did not display the courage to stand up to Daniel Andrews and say, we need this infrastructure in Victoria. And similarly, on the regional rail link, regrettably a project that is simply not doing the job. The regional rail link was meant to make travel between Geelong and Melbourne so much faster, and what we have seen in the regional rail link is, I think, a monumental failure. It is now servicing the suburbs in Western Melbourne, places like Tarneit and Wyndham Vale, and the people of Geelong and the people of Corangamite are being left behind. I was very pleased, under the leadership, of course, of the Prime Minister, to make a commitment of $1 million to duplicate the rail between South Geelong and Warren Ponds, and yet we've seen no action from state Labor in progressing that project. Where is the business plan? Where is the feasibility study to get these projects moving? We as a region have so much potential. Geelong, Torquay, Ocean Grove, Colac, and everywhere in between. Such a wonderful place to live, to work and to raise a family. And yet we are seeing major challenges in the development of vital infrastructure to support the growth in our community. It is a reflection on the state Labor government that it took a campaign led by me as the federal member, door-knocking, week after week, month after month, to get the duplication of the rail track through Geelong onto the state government's agenda. And now I am again calling on the state to get on with the job of doing that work and progressing that duplication. Madam Deputy Speaker, another great achievement, I think, of this government in Corangamite is the way that we have led the way in funding the upgrade of the Great Ocean Road. Before I was elected, I was absolutely delighted to make a commitment, $25 million from the Commonwealth, matched by $25 million from the former Liberal state government. And we were able to deliver a $50 million upgrade of the Great Ocean Road, making a real difference to places like Anglesey and Lorne in the upgrades they received. The Boggalee Creek Bridge was upgraded, the Separation Creek Bridge. And now I've been holding a number of summits, meeting with communities. I held a summit in Lorne and another one in Apollo Bay, reaching out to the community because we've now committed another $25 million, which was matched by the state after lobbying for that matching funding for some 6 months. So all in all, $100 million in an upgrade program in what is an incredibly important, iconic road, not just in our region, not just in Australia, but internationally renowned. And we have absolutely led the way under circumstances where the previous federal Labor member, Darren Cheeseman, and his government at the time did not support any federal investment in one of Australia's most important and iconic roads. And I do also say it is an incredible memorial to the men who built that road, returned soldiers, starting in 1919. Madam Deputy Speaker, I know that for all of us as regional members, and I include you in this as well, Madam Deputy Speaker, as a member for Robertson, I'm aware of the way in which you've delivered for your community. And it's not because of Liberal policy, it's because you identified the needs in your community with $72.5 million Central Coast Medical School and Research Institute, $32 million coming from the federal government, and also the new ATO office, which is delivering 600 new jobs into Gosford by the end of the year. This didn't happen like what we are doing in Corangamite because of Liberal policy. This happened because you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I might say for all of us, we all took our jobs very seriously. We identified the issues and the needs and the priorities and our own electorates, and we went out and we fought. And that is absolutely fundamental to my job. And each and every day, Madam Deputy Speaker, like you, I'm going out fighting for jobs, for infrastructure and the environment in my community. One of the absolute hallmarks, I feel, is the way in which, despite our challenges in manufacturing, the way in which we can see a greater and more diversified economy in Geelong. A number of years ago, we secured the Advanced Manufacturing Industry Growth Centre, based in Geelong at Warm Ponds, at Deakin, which is an extraordinary university doing amazing things and leading the way, might I say, in showing how a university can work with industry to forge new opportunities, new research, groundbreaking research and new jobs. And perhaps the best example of that is Carbon Revolution, which started off as a university project. A group of students got together to test a vehicle, a lightweight vehicle, for a race. And they decided that their vehicle would be more lightweight if they used carbon fibre wheels. And from that now, we have an incredible business in Carbon Revolution, which built a new factory supported by $5 million from our government, not the Labor Party, as the member for Cryo wrongly and very dishonestly states. $5 million from our government, funded by a $15 million contribution to the Geelong Region Innovation and Investment Fund. And this particular company is leading the way globally in developing these lightweight wheels, and has just raised $50 million to develop even further. So we are proudly a very strong advanced manufacturing growth centre. And I won't hear any discussion about the failure of auto manufacturing. When we look at Ford, which sadly has ended its manufacturing, Ford still has some 500 people working in Geelong and at the Lara Proving Ground, 500 employees engineering and designing cars for Ford's global market. And just yesterday I met with the chair of Chemring, another incredible company which has flown to a large degree under the radar, which is making flares for the defence industry, including flares for the F-35 project. Some 100 people are working out at Chemring's Lara factory. So there are so many wonderful advanced manufacturers in our region, supported by our belief and our investment in advanced manufacturing. Not just the Geelong Region Innovation and Investment Fund, our $155 million growth fund, even our Geelong Region Jobs Connection program, underpinned by other very important investments like the establishment of an Australian Bureau of Statistics Centre of Excellence on the waterfront. So in so many ways, I'm incredibly proud of the way in which our government is continuing to invest in our region. The NDIA, the National Disability Insurance Agency headquarters, is under construction.
Order.
Thank you. The NDIA headquarters, a $120 million building under construction. And even the WorkSafe, the state government's WorkSafe building, also under construction, has been underpinned by a loan, a low-interest loan, of $68 million from the Clean Energy Finance Corporation. So again, the Commonwealth is playing a very significant role in the development of that building. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, in these closing minutes of my address today, I want to make a few observations about the big fights that are yet to be had. We're so proud of what we have delivered right across the economy, standing up for big communities and small. NBN, mobile base stations, supporting Avalon Airport become an international airport. Our support for the dairy industry, for farmers, our focus on energy security, our focus on job security and on national security, which is resonating in places like Torquay and Ocean Grove and Geelong because of the real issues and concerns about community safety, which we are seeing, I feel, we are seeing really becoming an alarming issue under the current state government. One of my big objectives, Madam Deputy Speaker, is to secure a city deal for our region, and I'm delighted with the support that we've received from the likes of G21, which is a great organisation bringing together our 5 regional councils. It was my great honour to organise a meeting with the Prime Minister and G21 last week here in Canberra, and together we're working to try and bring a city deal to our region, which brings state, local government and the federal government together, along with other major institutions like Deakin and industry, to form an agreement, one vision, one plan, to make sure we can continue to drive the investment into our region. Fixing the regional rail link is an absolute priority. We must see significant movement from the state in fixing the regional rail link, getting on with regional rail. It is so vitally important. Another big focus, I believe, for a city deal is our focus on tourism. We saw a complete lack of interest from the previous federal Labor government when it came to supporting tourism in our region. Let's not forget that the Great Ocean Road is the centrepiece of a $2.1 billion regional tourism economy, and we need to keep that investment going. And I'm very pleased that I'm working with a group of people. I'll have more to say in the coming weeks about a very significant project to continue to drive tourism investment and to increase the yield. So we see a city deal as being very important, and as part of that, like what the Liberal government, state Liberal government did in the 1990s when my mother was the member for Geelong, I think that an independent planning authority to drive and fast-track that investor confidence and development is very important, which obviously mimics what has occurred with the likes of the Townsville City deal. And I will finish by saying I'm very conscious of some of these social challenges in our community, and Madam Deputy Speaker, welcome you to the chair and recognise you as the Deputy Chair of our committee, our House of Reps Standing Committee on Social Policy and Legal Affairs, and we've just announced an inquiry into family violence law reform, and I'm very cognisant of the real issue that this is in the community, along with issues like ice addiction and other challenges for families. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm incredibly proud to be the member for Corangamite to have been re-elected, and I will continue to stand up and fight for my community at every opportunity. Thank you.